Hello, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of my Let's Play Modded Minecraft. Man, I'm really behind on actually processing these episodes. But anyway, yeah, so 12, starting on 12, even though, I think I still need to work on 4. Anyway, so I came out here to check on my tree farm and discovered that there was no trees being worked on. I picked up all the golems that were there and found that my use golem was not among them, which would probably explain why I thought that was a creeper, but no, it's a creeper hat. Anyway, so I discovered that my use golem is gone. I'm not sure what happened to him. I have noticed before that the use golems will go out and attack things like the guard golems, because apparently they think they're guards. But as that I didn't gear him up for combat, that I don't think he would fare too well. So basically, future use golems need to be thaumium golems. Oops. Ah, so that's where the saplings came from. So any future use golems that I make will need to be thaumium golems and probably geared up a little bit for battle. No, you're gonna come this direction. Yes, that's right. Come on. Yeah, he burned up. Okay, and then after that I came back over here to check on this here, which was a makeshift egg farm, to check up on my egg production, and discovered a feather, which I'll take, and some zombie flesh. There's clearly a story here that I'm not being told. Why is zombie flesh in this? Okay, about the only thing I could think of is that a zombie hopped down here, killed the chicken, and then roasted. I would be semi-interested to know what that story was. Anyway, so basically what I have planned for this episode is, well, so you know what, I'll show you guys what I did here real quick. I hooked up a filter thing to this here. I didn't really want to give it its own special color or anything. And hooked it up to a barrel filled with charcoal, which is feeding into this dynamo here. The tree farm was actually putting the wood in this ender chest, so it was going through the system and burning up, turning into charcoal, which actually I think I'll disable now. Yes, so hopefully I'll get plenty of power. And I've got one of these completely full, and it's working on the other one. Well, on the next one in line. So anyway, yes. What I have planned for this episode is we're going to be working on automated mining. Yes. But first, we're going to need an angel block. These things are awesome. Just toss that in there. Basically, an angel block is designed for people who can fly and need to build something up in the air or in a spot where there aren't any blocks that you can build off of. Basically, you take it, you right-click it, and it places itself in the air where you're facing about head height, whether or not there's actually any blocks there. You can also break it with your fist, and when you break it with your fist, it instantly goes back to your inventory, which is pretty darn awesome. Yes. So, let me think. Am I forgetting anything? No, I think I've pretty much got everything. So, I'm gonna go find where I want to build this gizmo, and I'll be back once I've found my location. Alright, here's where we're gonna build it, right in the middle of the ocean. And we're gonna have it travel in that direction. Now, I've picked the ocean because it's the easiest to sink back and down into after I've built the device. Yes, so basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to use this mod called Redstone in Motion. Let's see, let's see what I call it. Okay, so it's not a actually going to tell me... Oh, no, wait, there it is. That's it right there. Okay, cool. 3, 4, 5. 1, 6, 7. Or I guess that's 8, right? Must be 8. Alright, so... Yeah, I should probably be explaining stuff, which I'm currently not doing. Don't know how many of those things I'm actually going to need. Anyway, so basically we have a mod here called Redstone into Motion, and we're using the structure carriage frame things, which allows us to move an entire cuboid of things. Now, basically, this mod, well, it's been a number of years, but basically Red Power, just before LRAM stopped working on it, came out with something called frames, or Redstone frames, I think it was, or something like that. It was, anyway, basically what it is Redstone in, basically, it's what these blocks here are, although actually these blocks are more powerful than those were. But basically the idea was that anything connected to the block would move when... I'm not really good at explaining things. Basically allowed you to build big structures that could move. Anything touching the block would move when the block moved, and frames could be chained up to move large structures. Now this was kind of... They were kind of limited in that they wouldn't move every block. They would only move certain blocks. Like, they couldn't move water blocks. These can move water blocks, which is kind of amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the whole system with Red Power, you also had to supply it with power, bluetricity, and it was often very, very expensive a very expensive undertaking. Whereas these things are cheap. The whole mod for this, Redstone into Motion, is extraordinarily cheap. Very, very, very cheap. And it's kind of overpowered. Because these things, which are designed more or less like the Red Power's version, can do way more. Yes, so I'm not good at explaining, so I guess I'll just show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, we want 11 across. And let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus another 1, 2. And one more for the structure. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sweet. Oh dear. Hopefully I actually have enough stuff here. Huh, I might not have enough frames for this. Here I was thinking I'd probably have leftovers. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh, yeah, I'm not going to have enough frames for this. Go figure, I'm going to have to go back to base and make some more. Huh. Alright, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go back to base, grab some more materials, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I went ahead and finished it, and basically how this thing works is, let's see, do I have the thing? Yes, I do. I have it right here. Basically, you need to go to all the corners, hit them like this. But as you can see, it's kind of doing things to all the other spaces. It's kind of making the sides opaque, and of course it has to rain and be night. There we go, that should fix that. Okay, now, do this, makes them opaque. And basically we're setting this up, telling it what space it's going to be moving. Let's see, I've already got this, just need to get the bottom of that one there, up the top here. Okay, everything looks good here. Alright, now basically when I hook up an engine to this thing, or one of these things, to this, put it on this, and have it move, everything, including these sides here, within this space, will move with the whole thing. So this is going to be basically the frame for our mining. Now, I'm not quite sure how strong this stuff is. In fact, I'm kind of worried about it, because, well, the last time I tried to build something like this was with the old red power frames, and it was a kind of this behemoth mining machine, and it was designed to be above the surface pretty much at all times and not really handle hazardous environments. But the thing we're going to be building here, on the other hand, is going to actually, I'm going to submerge it under the sea level here, and have it move along underground, mining underground. And I'm also, so basically just from that, it needs to be able to handle liquids pouring on it from above and from the sides. And so have to build walls in it, which I'm actually planning to use this hardened glass to do. Yes. So, need the hardened glass to do that. Sorry, brain's just kind of glitching out here. Yeah, so it needs to be able to handle liquids and things like that, pouring on top of it. But also, one of the things that Redstone in Motion gives is this thing called a carriage translocator, which allows this thing to teleport from one position to another, and can also go between dimensions. So I can actually take this thing to the Nether. And I'm kind of thinking at some point I might actually want to do that. So this thing has to also be able to withstand gas fireballs. Ideally. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to achieve that, at least not all over. But I can at least make it fairly resistant to explosions. Now, this hardened glass here, I'm using because it should be able to withstand some explosions, but I also kind of want to be able to see outside, so hardened glass is awesome for that. Yes. I think I just fucked up. Alright, well, basically, yeah, so yeah, I did. Now, let me see, is this the one? Yeah, this is that one. And this one needs to be removed. Perfect, because that's where drills are going to go. Okay, yes, so... Oops. Yes, and that is where also another drill is going to go. Now just put it on the top. Yeah, I'm gonna finish filling in the walls and I'll be right back. Okay, now basically I have all the stuff I'm going to need here. I have the arcane bores. I'll just go ahead and set those things up first here. Arcane thing there. There, and there. And of course the bores. Are you gonna actually make me place it directly on top? It is. Drat. I didn't leave myself a way out. But there we go. Fly. And do that. And come on, that. What? There we go. Alright, and face this the other direction. Good, good, good. Alright, now, let's see here. Grab the focuses and the pickaxes. One for each. Sweet. Now I've got two beams going down, so we can scoop up stuff from below, and one in forward, so that way we can burrow under the ground in front of us. Now, to hook these things up to... where did I put those? Ah, here they are. Good, good, good. Need all this stuff. Okay, now, unfortunately, my tests have shown that these things will not hook up to... that's weird. To normal tube systems. So the only tube system that I have that they'll actually work with is the tubes mod here. That's interesting. I don't really like that, so I'm going to put that there. Alright. And an ender chest, I'll just go ahead and throw that down there. That'll work. That'll take anything that they gather and drop it off back at the home base. Okay, and let's see. Now I need... this. This is a carriage controller, which moves the thing, but the only way to give it instructions is with a computer. You can either use computer craft, which is what it was actually designed for, or you can go with what I'm using, since I don't have computer craft installed, although I could have gotten the mod, but it felt a little too cheap and easy. So instead, we're going with the Open Computers route. So, let's see, we need the adapter. This allows the computer to connect to that. Not that. Here we are. We need the computer tower, the case. We need a power converter for it. I just saw a power thing. Did I leave that in you? I did. Okay, here we go. There we go. And power for it. Turn that all off for the moment. Not sure how much power this actually takes. A computer monitor and a keyboard slapped onto the side, because apparently that's required. And the computer case is pretty much empty, so we need to give it some guts. A processor, a graphics card so we can see what we're doing, some memory, and a hard drive. Well, I'm not sure how to save programs with this. I'm going to have to play around with that a bit. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, yes, this too. This, and this. No idea if they can, if bores can accept a redstone signal from the top like that. Possibly. I don't know. So, now if everything works correctly, we should be able to just turn this on. Not enough. Oh, right. It needs to be red. And okay, I guess it needed to charge up for a moment. And here we are. Alright, and, well, that's draining power a little bit faster than I was actually expecting it to, but we should have enough juice here for a while. I'm going to need to play around with this because I'm not entirely sure how to program this thing yet or make things persistent. So I'm going to work on this, and I'll be back once I'm ready to take this thing for a test run. Alright, so I created a replica of this in a creative world and played around with it so that I get a feel for it and work on the program without wasting too much power. And I discovered a couple of things. First of all, these pipe systems. I just don't have a pipe system that is capable of keeping up with these bores. So we're just going to remove them and hook them up directly to ender chests. And furthermore, we're going to pull that out of there. Let's see, where did the pipes go? Pipes there, pipes there. These arcane bores are too high up, it seems. Yes. So I'm going to just... Doesn't look like it's going to let me do that. Okay. Let's see... Oh, you know what? While I'm thinking about it... Need a door. Oh, you can probably see all that, you can see fairly well. That's interesting looking. I wonder what that's all about. And also the air isn't going down too quickly. That's because, while I was making the, ender chests, I went back to the base, you know, to make those ender chests, and I put Respiration 3 and Aqua Affinity 1 on my goggles. So now I can stay underwater longer and see much better. No longer just total blindness. Darn it. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Can I put an obsidian plate on this? I can. Which is cool. Can I put a door on this? Where did I put my door? There it is. Door. No, I cannot. Okay, which means we need to put normal stone here, which is weaker than the glass, but whatever, should work. Okay, and can I put an obsidian plate on the glass here? No, I cannot. Which means I have to do this again. And more stone. Obsidian plate. Alright, and then I'm just going to go ahead and cover this with hardened glass. Because I got a fair amount of it, and I want to be able to see. There we go. Now I can get in and out easily. Okay, yes, and... just take that, just stuff that in my bag. Don't need that anymore. Where's my axe? There it is. The axe is apparently the best tool to grab these by. Did I get them? Both? Sweet, I did. Okay, cool. And rinse and repeat. Okay. Yes, 2 for 2. Okay, now put the base here. Leave the top there open for RedNet. Actually, you know what? Where did my RedNet go? There we go. Plop. Kerplop. And I'll change these over to connect only mode, so that way it looks a bit nicer. There we go. Okay, and arcane bores. Boop. You get one pick, one focus. You get one pick and one focus as well. Okay, and now that this is going to be extraordinarily difficult, just tear through this. Good. And this one. There we go. Now the idea with that is when I lower myself into the water, or when I lower all this into the water, water source blocks will get caught in those empty spaces. And, whoa, that was interesting. And, I have, no I don't. Water will get caught in those empty spaces, and I'll be able to, turn lava into obsidian that is underneath me while I'm mining, more easily. Okay, oh, yes. I also need... I think I left it in luggage. Oh, there it is. Like, where did my chunk loader go? Okay, so this... I'll just stick it right there. Let's see, what direction is this? This is... looks like positive X. So on the X-axis, square, circle, line, X. Yes, I do believe that that is it, so pull up the map. Perfect. Okay, now I believe that the arcane bores will load the chunks they interact with, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Oh, lever. Lever, lever, lever. Oh, the all-important lever. I'll just manually turn these guys on and off for now. Yes. Need to move this chest here. Pick you up, because you kind of annoy me sometimes. Okay, one chest goes there. Am I still in hover mode? I am. Okay, there we go. And now, for the computer part, we just flip this thing on. Okay, cool. Now, there's a couple of interesting things to note. If we type ls, we see all these menu things. Now, two of them is kind of, well, actually three of them is of interest to us at this moment. I don't want to cover the whole, well, this file system, but cover over some basics. First of all, bin, boot, lib, and user are all part of the ROM system. You can't put anything in them. Yes. Mount is where hard drives and things like that go, and temp is a file structure that exists only within the RAM. So it exists within this RAM. So anything you put in there will be lost when the computer's rebooted. Yes, now, bin contains the files that allow you to, like the ls command and other things. Go to bin, or we change directory to the bin, just hitting all sorts of keys. Type ls. These are pretty much all the commands that you'll pretty much use in this operating system here. They're all within the bin, and when you type in something, when you type in a command like cd or ls or something like that, what the program does is the operating system itself doesn't really know what to do with that. So it uses an environment variable, which we can look at with the command set. These are the current environment variables. Yes, and it looks at this path variable. Now, you know what? I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to pull out the hard drive here, and we're going to turn it back on. And we're going to look at the path variable again. Okay, now this path variable, it tells it where to look for the commands. So it starts out with in bin, which is where all the commands are that come with it. It then looks at user bin, which is interesting because user is on ROM as far as I know, although I suppose you could probably mount something to bin. But user is on ROM and there's no bin there, so I'm not entirely sure why it even bothers with that, but okay. Home/bin. I don't think there is a home. Is there a home? Yeah, no, there's no home. So I guess that's another... I guess both the user bin and home bin are supposed to be mount points, which actually kind of makes sense. And is kind of cool. Anyway, yes, and the last one here is this dot. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that they're all separated by colons. Anyway, the last one here is this dot, which represents the current directory. So when you type in a command, it first searches bin. If it doesn't find it there, it searches user bin. If it doesn't find it there, it searches home bin. And if it still doesn't find it, it looks in the current directory. And if it doesn't find it still, it spits out an error. But none of those, you'll notice, are the hard drive. Well, I suppose user bin and home bin and the current directory could theoretically be the hard drive, but you can't really rely upon those being the hard drive. Well, I suppose you could set up a script to make them reliably the hard drive, but anyway. So, what I needed to do was, well, I want to be able to use my own commands, the way I use like ls and such. I could just type it in, any directory, have it work, which means I need to add something to this path, or needed to add something to this path. I've kind of already done it. Turn this off again. We put that in there and turn it back on. Oops. And type this in again. We can see that when we look at path, we can see at the very end has been tacked on a new folder for it to look under. Mount. Oh, that's not actually right. That should be a /mount. Oh well, I'll fix that when we're looking at the code here. So I've added in a path directory, or added in the path to my hard drive here. So if we go to cd mount /8d8, we can have a look at how I did that. Oh, it's B8. B, not 5, 8. There we go. Okay, on the hard drive, every disk drive, every storage medium that Open Computer has, when you put it into a computer, it will run this autorun Lua. It'll run either autorun or autorun.lua file automatically. And if we edit autorun.lua, we can see that my cell phone is complaining because it doesn't have enough charge in its battery. But because this thing annoys the hell out of me when it's beeping and I don't really feel like charging it at the moment, I am going to just simply yank out said battery. I was hoping it would make more noise than it actually did, but anyway. So, cell phone won't beep anymore. And stuff just fell on the floor. Okay. So, if we edit this, we got some interesting stuff going on. First of all, I want to make that correction before I forget. Come all the way over to... Oh shit, I just pressed a button. Alright, well I'm not saying it, and... Oh, I guess path path command there strips it off. Okay, well, I suppose that kind of makes sense. So just kind of need to sneak in another one here. I'm just going to Control S that. Okay, so basically what's going on here is in Lua, only a couple of the libraries are actually imported, I guess included, as it were, by default. So the libraries for the actual computer thing there are not quite they're not loaded in, so we have to load them in manually here, which is what the first two lines are for. We're loading in the process library under proc and the file system library under fs. The OS library seems to be one that's enabled by default, so we don't have to load that one in. So basically what we're doing here is first bit here is the set environment, the environment variable path. Yeah, so set environment, first argument for that is path, because that's the environmental variable that we want to edit. But we don't want to replace it, we want to just kind of add to it. So we get the environment variable path, and we tack on our own little thing to here. Now, because we're putting our thing after path, we could put it before if we wanted, but because we're doing it after, let's see, oh, I do have a cursor, putting on the colon and slash for our path. Now, I'm using the file system to, you know what, let me start over here. We're using the process running command, which gets us the path of the current file that is running. We're feeding that into the file system path function, which takes it, strips off the last bit and apparently the first slash, and returns basically the parent directory, which we then slap on bin to, because we want to add the bin in the current directory, the bin folder that is in the current directory, to the path command, so that it searches there. Yes. Hooey, that was a bit much, wasn't it? Okay. Next, if we go into bin, type in ls, we can see that I have the move C Lua file command thing. Now, I wanted to use move originally, but apparently there's already a move, and it's used to move folders around, so can't use that. So if we edit move, can I hit tab? No, I can't. C.lua, type in the whole thing. Well, okay, one moment, let me check something out. Alright, I figured it out. What it was is I actually used an external editor to help me write all this out, because I don't really like typing in this window here. And it left a few extra characters that this thing didn't recognize, so I went through and cleaned it up. Yes, if you ever do the same thing, make sure you save it so that you have your editor set to use Unix-style end-of-lines, or new lines. And this thing doesn't know what a tab is, so be sure to replace those with spaces. Yes. So anyway, basically what we have here is, again, we have, starting out with two libraries being loaded in, component and event, and I'm also getting the arguments that was passed to this. If there were no arguments, it basically gives you instructions on how to use this thing. Otherwise, The first argument is the direction that you want this whole thing to move in. The second argument is the number of spaces that you want it to move. And of course it runs this thing to get the carriage component to work on. It does that through component get primary carriage. Oh man, this lag's just hurting. Well, what it is, this is all being done client side. I have the client set to lower priority than normal, so it's going to be a bit laggy. There's not much that can be done about that. Okay, yes. So we get the carriage. You guys can probably look up that for yourself, so I'm not going to go too much into detail about that. So if there's you know what, screw it, I'm going to use pointer. So if you have 0 or less in the number of blocks that you want the thing to move, then it runs a simulation. Otherwise, it runs a for loop to move it through the number of blocks that you want the thing to move. And we have 2 lines here underneath of that. Underneath the carriage thing here. Event pull, and let's see if we can get this whole thing in here. Event pull, carriage moved. Basically, the computer system cannot receive any information about the thing being moved while it's being moved. So instead, it has to kind of do this asynchronous thing, where it gets a carriage moved event to let it know that it has actually moved. And the event.pull function tells the thing that we want it to wait until it receives that. So basically, it sends the instruction to move the carriage, to move the vehicle, 1 block, and then this event pull allows it to wait. And then for the loop here, that's real important, because otherwise it'll just continuously run through that without actually waiting for the thing to finish. So if you tell it to move 5 blocks without this, it moves only like 2, but with this it'll move all 5, which is really, really, really nice. Yes, now the event itself gives a fair amount of information, like whether or not it was successful, if it wasn't successful, the reason for it, and the coordinates of the location of the reason for its failure. But I'm not really interested in that, so I gathered them, but that's about it. And that's pretty much it. So, let's see, we are currently 70 according to that thing, but I think we're a bit lower than that. There we go. Okay, we're at 69, and I think I want to go down to 50. Are we actually ready for this? Yes. Yes, I think we're ready for this. So, Control W to quit out of that. CD / just to prove that it can actually be done from any directory, and we'll hit ls just to prove that we're not in the same directory as that. Move C neg Y. Oop, no. Negative Y, because we want to move downward. And 19. Oh, this is probably going to be way too much, but it should be entertaining. Here we go. Now, something to note is it actually moves the player with it, I think. Maybe not. Oh yeah, now we're cutting into the water. Should see the water reform above us. Oh dear. Did I mess up? Are we in water? Okay, no. Well, that was a success. We're now successfully underwater. Oh, yes, right. And actually, I think I had it in the one that I wanted to use. Yes, I did. Boop. There we go, plenty of light. Now I'm not going to hook it up to the boars, since that would actually just kind of be a waste of resources. But yeah, so, sweet. It worked, we're at the correct Y level. And now I'm going to shut this down. Shut down, there we go. I'm going to shut this down to conserve energy, because we don't actually need that thing on while running it. And until I get better able to handle the resources that this thing's going to provide, I'm not going to bother with that, or I'm not going to set this up to fully automate this gizmo. It's just going to be manually run for the time being. Yes. Had something more to add to that, but I can't remember what it was at the moment. Yes. So for now, I'm just gonna flip this thing on and just eat away at the world. Let's hop in here since we can actually see underwater now. Let's see, is this going to be eating away at anything? Turn off the jetpack. Oh right, I switched the buttons so that I wouldn't actually turn it off while I was flying. Okay, that board does not appear to be within range of anything. But these ones, on the other hand, just eating up this world. Yummy, yummy world. Yes. You know, I'm probably going to have to add a few more chests to my storage room because I noticed they're getting kind of on the full side. So, yes. Awesome. Get back in here. Okay, and let's have a look inside here. Lots of clay, lots of stuff. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh yeah, forgot. When you open one, they all open up, which is really kind of cool. Now, you'll probably have noticed that there was no... Oh, come on. There was no laser graphic. It seems to go away when they get moved. Not entirely sure why. But whatever, we can't expect them well, everything to work perfectly with the frames. And yeah, so this is the mining machine. It's not sure about that bubble. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and run this, expand the storage room a bit more to handle our income from this. And I think I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. So, once again, I am KHM, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.